Good afternoon. My name is Joshua Reynolds, and I am the communications specialist here at the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation. Uh, and today is Wednesday, and we are very happy to have you here with us for Webinar Wednesdays. In today's presentation, we're going to talk about how to get that interview. And we're very excited to have with us Norma Williams, who is the workshop facilitator for the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation Workforce Services Division, Prince George's One-Stop Career Center.
Hi.
Hi. So before we get to her, we want to tell everyone to you're able to ask questions throughout the presentation, but then you're also all the questions will be answered at the end of the presentation, and please make sure your volume is up. Without further ado, I'm going to pass the screen over to Ms. Norma Williams, who's going to go through her presentation for you. Norma?
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about get the interview. Well, now let's get the job. We'll be talking about the interview skills that will help you to land the job that you want. So first, getting the interview. As you know, you will have to take time to do a quality resume. I have a lot of people who are coming in that are in a rush to get the resume done and to do their resume. And you do want to take the time to do a quality resume because you want to get the quality job. You want to show them the skills and abilities that you have that you're offering to the new employer. You also want to take the time to pick your companies in addition to using your online banks. A lot of us will use the online job banks and not use anything else. What I'm recommending is that you also pick the companies that you want to work for and take a look at the job opportunities that they have within your career field. Also use your network, the folks that you socialize with, the people that are in your group on your LinkedIn, that are in your meetings. Use them to get information to find out what opportunities are out there, what exists for you. And last but not least, definitely use your professional skills in getting to that job opportunity. In other words, if you're a graphic designer, then design your job search. If you're a meeting planner, then plan it out. Use your professional skills in order to get to your job search and get to the place where you want to be, so that they'll know exactly what it is that you have to offer. So once you get the interview, it is time to land that job. I want you to remember that it is not always the one who has the best or the most qualifications that will get the job. However, most of the time, it is the one who is best prepared that will get the job. So let's be prepared so that we can get to the job. In being prepared, first you want to make sure that you conduct research on the company. And I'm not talking about just in general what they do, but you want to get into the company and find out what does this company do, how does it do it, and what relationship does it have with other companies, or what the relationship does it have within different departments within itself. What is the stock like? What is the annual report like? What are their goals? What does this company stand for? What are the values in this company? Do your research on the company. Use LinkedIn, use Glassdoor, Google the articles about this company. Find out everything you can about the company and how it relates to the position that you want. So when you get to the interview, you can talk shop, that you're able to talk about what you're doing and how it relates to what the company is trying to achieve. And then when you're on that interview, have confidence in yourself. Take your professional self to the interview. A lot of times we'll take our shy self, oh, I really need a job self. But take your professional self, the person who's going to be doing the job that's in you, okay? You're offering your skills to this employer. When you sent your resume to the employer, the employer was saying in a job announcement, I need someone who can do this. You're saying, I have the skills to do that. So take your professional self and show them the skills that you're offering. And also take the time to dress appropriately for the position. Take the time. Little things mean a lot. Bring copies of your resume to show that you're well prepared. Sometimes you will be in a panel interview and you'll need more resumes, and so you can show that you're prepared to handle any situation that arises. Also, if it's appropriate for your career field, take a success portfolio with you, with your award and honors and accolades. But remember, make sure that they are the awards and honors that showcase the skills you're offering to the employer now. A computer class that you took in 1988 really is not going to apply to today's standard. So what you want to do is make sure that whatever you bring with you, it applies to the skills that you are offering right now. Also, don't bring your cell phone to an interview. And if you have to bring it to the interview, make sure that it is off. It may change in the future as your cell phones become more useful, but in an interview right now, having your cell phone, walking to the front door, signing into security with the cell phone to your ear is a no-no. So don't bring it. If you have to bring it, make sure it's off and that it's put away and it doesn't make an appearance. And continuing to be prepared, you want to display a positive attitude. Okay? You have the skills and abilities to do the job. That's why they called you for this interview. They didn't arbitrarily pick you out of a group and say, okay, well, we'll call this person in. They looked at what you said you had to offer and decided based upon that, and based upon maybe a telephone interview, that you had the skills and abilities to do the job, that you had the aptitude to do the job. So they've called you in for a face-to-face interview. So display a positive attitude. Also, it's the little things that mean a lot. A natural, warm, friendly smile, a greeting, and a handshake are all important. They all go a long way. Use all the skills that you've learned growing up for the common courtesies. Sit up straight. Look at the person when you're talking to them. Don't mumble. All these things come into play when you're on the interview. It's the little things that mean a lot. They already know that you're qualified to do the job. What they're trying to do now is to decide which person that they're interviewing is going to be the best fit for their company. And then on the interview, don't knock yourself. Okay, it's okay to be humble, but not on the interview. Now, I'm not saying be arrogant or to be cocky. What I am saying is that you want to let the employer know that you are capable and that you're qualified. And you want to be able to back up your statements with examples. You sent your resume to them saying that you could do the job that they wanted you to do. So let them know that, yes, you are the same person that is on that resume, that you are capable and you are qualified to do that job. And one more page for being prepared. Make sure that beforehand you prepare questions that you would like to ask. By preparing questions, it shows that you are interested in the job and that you're detail-oriented. It shows that you've taken the time to think about things and that you're just not trying to wing it, that you really want to work for their company. And make sure that the questions you prepare are honestly and directly with this, for this interview or for this company. In other words, don't just pick questions. What does a typical day look like? You know, don't just pick questions off the list, but pick questions that you really want to know the answers to, and pick questions that are related to the position and to the company that you're applying to. And last but not least, before you leave from the interview, make sure that you tell them that you're interested in the position, that you want the job. Find out what the next step in the process would be and find out how to make contact with them. Definitely, you're going to send a thank you note at the end, within 24 hours of the interview. But also, if they say they're going to call you back in 3 weeks and it's 3 weeks and a day and they have not called you, then you want to get back in touch with them because you want the job. You're interested in the job. So take the time to get that information. And before you go on the interview, please take time to practice answering the interview questions. In other words, you can Google. There are 150 typical interview questions that you can find on Google. There are lists of the 10 top questions that just about everywhere has. Here in the One Stop, we have a list of top questions. Take the time to practice answering those questions. In other words, you don't want to write out an answer to everything, but what would you say if? If they ask you, tell me about yourself, what are you going to say? If they ask you, well, why did you leave your last job? What will you say? And you want to have an idea of what it is that you want to talk about before the question is asked, and then you get stuck, and which is not the right answer. Okay, so take the time to practice. Talk to the mirror, talk to a friend, talk to the children, but take the time in answering the questions and talking out what you will say ahead of time. And since we're talking about questions, let's talk about the 3 common types of interview questions. The traditional question, which is, tell me about yourself. Why should we hire you for this position? These are open-ended questions that are traditionally asked in an interview. You have your situational questions. What would you do if? These are hypothetical questions. What would you do if you're left in charge without direction? And then you have your behavioral questions. Your behavioral questions are about your past. Describe a time when you were successful. Describe a time when you were left in charge. So I want to talk about each one of those individually. In the traditional questioning, the interviewer will run through your resume using open-ended and broad-based questions. And they're looking for the answer to, do you really have the skills and abilities to perform the job? Your resume was great, but we all know that some people have other people do their resumes for them. And they want to make sure that their resume matches the person that is sitting before them. Do you possess the expected enthusiasm and work ethic of this agency? Will you be a team player, and will you fit into the organization? So when you're answering traditional questions, what you want to do is answer the question directly. State your beliefs clearly and concisely. You don't want to ramble on, but you want to clearly state what it is that you believe. Say enough in order to answer and get your point across, but keep it short. Don't run on and on and on. You do want to have your 30-second elevator speech ready to go. Sometimes they call it your branding statement or your 1-minute summary, whichever you call it, whatever it is that you have prepared. Make sure that it's a synopsis of your skills and abilities that you're offering, and prepare it, review it. It'll make it a lot easier to answer some of the questions. You'll find that that'll answer quite a few questions. Why should we hire you for this position? What is it that you bring to this organization? Tell me about yourself. Your 30-second elevator speech can really do well to answer that. Also, relate your answer to what you know about the position. Make sure that you take into consideration what the position does and how it fits within the organization, and your answers relate to that. In responding to situational questions, these are questions when you're asked your opinion on a certain situation that may arise in relation to the job. What they are looking for is for you to give solutions to a hypothetical situation. The purpose of these questions is to evaluate your problem-solving skill in the workplace. So how can you best be prepared to respond for that? Well, the key is to simply review your past working experiences. You know what situations have arose in the past. You know the possibility of what happens in your career field. So review the steps that you took to resolve the problems, and review the steps that you took to make corrections. If you have short stories, that's a great time to use them to show that you have experience in doing this, that you already have had experience in dealing with things. Always remember that if an experience turns out with a negative outcome, make sure that you tell what you've learned about it. Make sure that you always take a negative and make it positive. And then last but not least, in answering behavioral questions. Behavioral questions are when you're asked to explain your skills and experiences as examples of your past behavior. And the purpose of these questions is to predict your future behavior based upon your past experience. So in answering these questions, we recommend that you use the STAR method. And in the STAR method, that's where you tell the situation, the task that was at hand, the action that you took, and the results that you got from the action. In using this method, it gives you a concise and quick way in order to answer the questions from the past. Now, what I don't want you to do is to say, oh, STAR. What does that stand for? Okay, what you want to do is you want to practice answering questions in this way ahead of time so that you're not trying to remember that STAR stands for different things. But this is a great method to use in dealing with behavioral questions. So get the interview, get the job, take the time to prepare yourself. Remember that when they called you in for the interview that you do qualify for the job and that what they're trying to do to see if you are the best fit. Let them know that you are able, you're capable, and that you want the position. And I'm done.
Thank you so much, Ms. Williams. You have presented such wonderful, wonderful information for us all. And I think I'm all the more better for it. But I have one question. How can someone get in contact with the Prince George's County or Prince George's One-Stop Career Center?
Well, the number to the front desk is 301-618-8425. And our information specialist will direct and guide you to the appropriate place or answer questions that you have. Also, the mwejobs.maryland.gov is where you can go to find out all the available jobs, the training that's there. We even have an app for that.
Awesome. And how much does it cost to use the One-Stop Career Center services?
$0. It's free.
It's free? Hold on. So wait. All I have to do is call. It's free. Okay. Do I have to set up an appointment to come in?
No. You can come in between 8 and 4 Monday through Thursday or 8 and 2 on Friday. And we have a resource center that's available for you to use the computers. Free, no charge to you. We also have a printer and a copier and a fax machine for your job search needs.
Wow. That sounds like an awesome place. Well, thank you again for presenting, and I want everyone to stay tuned as we will share our next set of Webinar Wednesdays topics by the end of the week. You all have a great day, and thank you again.
Thank you for having me.